Thank you, devotees, for joining today's Bhagavatam reading. Before starting, we'll start with the Mangalachana prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Arjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We will also read the prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam. Hopefully, other devotees will join. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Srushtrusho Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevana Shrunvatam Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Bhadrani Vidhanoti Sruhutratam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Tadarajastamo Bhava Kamalobhadayasya Chetayetairanavitham Stitam Satte Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hridayan Grandi Siddhyante Sarva Samshaya Jyante Jasya Karmani Drushta Evatmanishware Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Again, thank you very much, devotees, for joining this morning Bhagavatam reading. We are going to cover Canto 3, Chapter 33, which is the last chapter of this canto, and text from 33 to 37. In fact, this is the end of this canto. This will be the last reading session for this canto. Next, tomorrow we'll start with a new canto. Kapilopi Mahayogi Bhagavan Piturashramat Mataram Samanugyapya Prak Udichim Disham Yayo Kapilopi Mahayogi Bhagavan Piturashramat Mataram Samagnyapya Pragudichim Disham Yayo. Synonyms: Kapila, Lord Kapila, Api, surely, Mahayogi, the great sage, Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead, Pituhu, of his father, Ashramat, from the hermitage, Mataram, from his mother, Samajnapya, having asked permission, Prak Udichim, northeast, Disham, direction, Yayo, he went. Translation. And purport by His Divinity Srila Prabhupada. But of course, this one doesn't have a purport, but next, I think, next verse has a purport. My dear Vidura, the great sage Kapila, the personality of Godhead, left his father's hermitage with the permission of his mother and went towards the northeast. Hmm. So the last chapter is basically the activities of Lord Kapila before winding up his pastimes as Kapila Muni, particularly the teaching of Sankhya philosophy to his mother. So he's winding up this pastime, specific pastime. So, and previous verses, devotees have discussed that how after hearing Sankhya philosophy from Lord Kapila, Mother Devahuti actually perfected her consciousness, and in fact, she gets liberation by the awarding of the Lord Kapila. And now, after she gets liberated, uh, then the Lord is about to leave from his place because all these teachings were happening in the Kardama Muni's ashrama, which has created for Mother Devahuti. Now, because Mother Devahuti is fearless, because that was the original question of Mother Devahuti, that because my husband has left, I'm fearful, I'm attached, even though I know what is right, please teach me how to get over this. So, by teaching the Sankhya philosophy and giving her transcendental knowledge, she becomes fearless and willing to uh, uh, willing to live a life as a pure devotee now, right? So now his purpose has achieved. So Lord Kapila is about to leave the home. So he took the permission of his mother and he started to leaving from the hermitage. And it specifically mentioned which direction he went. He left to the, he actually went towards the northeast direction. Text 34. सिद्धचारण गंधर्वैर मुनिभिश्चाप्सरो गणैः स्तूयमाना समुद्रेण तत्तर्हण निकेतना. Translation and purport. While he was passing in the northern direction, all the celestial denizens known as Charanas and Gandharvas, as well as the Munis and the damsels of the heavenly planets, prayed and offered him all respects. The ocean offered him oblations and a place of residence. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada teaching. It is understood that Kapila Muni first went towards the Himalayas and traced the course of the river Ganges, and he again came to the delta of the Ganges at the sea known as Bay of Bengal. The ocean gave him residence at a place still known as Ganga Sagara, where the river Ganges meets the sea. Mhm. That place is called Ganga Sagara Tirtha. And even today, people gather there to offer respects to Kapila Deva, the original author of the Sankhya system of philosophy. Unfortunately, this Sankhya system has been misrepresented by an impostor who is also named Kapila. But that other system of philosophy does not tally with anything described in Sankhya of Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Some key points here. It is, yeah, certainly, the direction is known from where he is. Actually, I think the location where he taught, uh, Kapila Muni taught Mother Devahuti, that place is in Gujarat somewhere. Actually, when we went to Dwaraka Yatra, Maharaj took it, that place. There's a Bindu Sarovar as well. Uh, the bank of that Bindu Sarovara is the place, this hermitage. Uh, and so that is quite west part of the India right now. So that's why he traced to northeast direction, which is basically Himalayas from that place. So that's why Prabhupada is saying he went towards Himalayas, and while going towards Himalayas, then he reaches the Ganges River, and he follows the course of Ganges. And Ganges, obviously, it's flowing towards the east, and currently it is actually it merges, the Ganges merges uh, into Bay of Bengal. Right now, that is actually Bangladesh. I don't think India. I'm not so clear, but I don't think India has this bay area of Ganges where it meets the Bay of Bengal. Okay, and I'm not sure if any of you in the call know about this Ganga Sagara place. I never heard, but like Prabhupada is saying, the place is still existing somewhere in Bengal or East Bengal, which is Bangladesh right now. Because Bay of Bengal has offered residence to Lord Kapila, and Kapila stayed there and he meditated for the purpose of well-being of all the living entities. I think that's coming up in the next verse. And Prabhupada is giving a good amount of caution here, which is his typical nature. Always Prabhupada protects us from going into ditch, in the sense, always cautions us what is the right philosophy and what is the wrong philosophy. Many times he iterates about the Mayavada philosophy, what is the nuances of thinking in their way, so that we don't fall into the trap. Rather, we go in the direction of the Bhakti philosophy. Right here, the third canto actually presents theistic Sankhya Yoga, which is presented by Lord Kapila, son of Mother Devahuti. Whereas there is other Sankhya philosophy which came about much later, part of the time frame, because this particular Sankhya Yoga, Bhagavatam, came in the Satya Yuga, whereas the Sankhya Yoga which Prabhupada is mentioning right now, that atheistic Sankhya Yoga, again propagated by Kapila, atheistic Kapila. So that is probably in sometime in Kali Yuga. So Prabhupada is warning us to guard against it. Uh, and the best way is to just stick to the Sankhya philosophy presented in Bhagavatam, which is theistic and which is actually guides us towards the Lord. Text 35. Aste yogam samastaya sankhya charyair abhishtuta trayanam apilokanam upashantyai samahita. Even now, Kapila Muni is staying there in the trance for the deliverance of the conditioned souls in the three worlds. And all the acharyas or great teachers of system of Sankhya philosophy are worshipping him. So, and the position where he's meditating is Ganga Sagara, uh, where the Ganges meets the Bay of Bengal. And he's meditating there for the deliverance of the conditioned souls in the three worlds. And all the Sankhya followers, the true Sankhya followers, actually worship him. Text 36. Etan nigaditam tata yat prishtoham tavanga kapilasya cha samvado deva utyascha pavana. My dear son, since you have inquired from me, I have answered. O sinless one, the descriptions of the Kapila Deva and his mother and their activities are the purest of all pure discourses. So here, uh, Maitreya Muni is addressing Vidura as my dear son, I think. So, because this section is coming to the end, so he's reminding him, uh, 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 addressing him as a son, because Maitreya Muni is much older in the age. And Maitreya Muni, initially he inquired about the creation. So uh, he explained the Sankhya philosophy, which in a way explains the creation as well. So he's telling here, Maitreya Muni is telling here, my dear son, since you have inquired from me, I have answered. And he's giving, it's actually kind of a falashruti, that whenever a great story or a pastime is ending, there is a falashruti for that particular pastime by hearing or teaching that pastime or reading that pastime, what is the uh, benefit that we get. So first of all, before the benefit, it's saying it's a very pure, this knowledge. O sinless one, that is Vidura. The descriptions of Kapila Deva and his mother and their activities are the purest of all pure discourses. So it's one of a great discourse, obviously, in the history of time. Uh, and 37, the last verse of this canto. Yaidam anushronoti yobhidatte Kapila Munir Matam Atmayoga Guhyam Bhagavati Kritadhi Suparnaketava Upalabhate Bhagavat Padaravindam. Translation: the description of the dealings of Kapila Deva and his mother is very confidential, and anyone who hears or reads this narration becomes a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is carried by Garuda, and he thereafter enters into the abode of the Supreme Lord to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. It's a very significant Falasruti here. So first of all, the knowledge is very confidential, the discourse that happened between them, between the Lord and Mother Devahuti. And anyone who hears or reads this narration becomes a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what a wonderful boon. And it is specifically mentioned that Lord is who is carried by Garuda. Right? So that is Lord Vishnu. So we'll become devotee of Lord Vishnu. And thereafter, one enters the abode of the Supreme Lord to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. That's even more wonderful. Purport by His Divine Grace, His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The narration of Kapila Deva and his mother Devahuti is so perfect and transcendental that even if one only hears or reads this description, he achieves the highest perfection goal of life, where he engages in the loving service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no doubt that Devahuti, who had the Supreme Lord as her son and who followed the instructions of Kapila, so nicely attained the highest perfection of human life. So here, a data point is directly given, not just the uh, Falashruti, but Mother Devahuti actually got the liberation, which is, we saw that in the previous verses. It's actually explained in this chapter that uh, she actually become liberated. And Prabhupada is corroborating that statement with her case study, that this statement is actually true in the sense that uh, one who hears or reads this description, he achieves the highest perfection goal of life. And Prabhupada is apparently stating that the goal is for to engage in the loving service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the ultimate goal of the life, and Mother Devahuti has achieved that. And thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 33rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Activities of Kapila. Not only that, it actually end of the third canto. So it's wonderful that we have finished third canto, and of course there is a long way to go, fourth, fifth, all the way until 12 cantos. Hopefully we'll get there one day, but it's a glorious ending to third canto. And before closing this one, I just want to, for my understanding and um, uh, m- m- for me to connect well with the third canto, I just want to give a bigger picture of the third canto. Uh, and then any of in the call, if you have any specific pastime or specific instruction that very well stood out in the third canto, you can also express, and we can discuss those topics if we have time, more time. So, uh, the big picture that I'm trying to present is actually I heard some time back in the class from Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj. Actually, he presented a series of topics, structural presentation of Bhagavatam. It's about, I forgot the number of classes, but each canto, one class. Uh, Basically, the big picture of the canto. Uh, what are the theme of the canto, and what are the main topics in the canto, things like that. So, according to him, uh, the third canto actually presents the two topics of the out of 10 topics in Bhagavatam. The 10 topics are explained in Canto 2. Sarga, Visarga, like that, there are 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, and Canto 3 specifically is focused on Sarga and Visarga, that is primary creation and the secondary creation. And Maharaj also explains that uh, this particular, not only this particular canto, every canto is ultimately leading us to the Canto 10. Because Canto 10 is describes the 10th topic, which is the Ashraya, the goal of the 10th canto, the goal of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So ultimately, all these cantos are guiding us towards reading and relishing 10th canto. But if we directly jump into the 10th canto, uh, the problem is we because typically a living entity is conditioned to the material nature, so we try to misunderstand the topics of 10th canto. So in order for us to understand the 10th canto of Bhagavatam properly and uh, realize them in a proper mood, so all these top cantos guide us by removing some of these misconceptions that we develop through in this life and the previous lives. The samskaras, the bad samskaras, it will try to remove. And Maharaj says that third canto has the power specifically to remove a, a anartha called, or the samskara called the modern scientific thinking, or the modern scientific mentality. Uh, and he explains different shades of this mentality. Uh, that one of the shade is that the material nature is totally independent of any creator, or even if there is a creator, it doesn't matter. After the creator has created the material world by itself is independent. So it's no more connected to the Lord. And that is one of the another a living entity carries. Uh, and he also gives why that kind of mentality is come about. It's like I heard Prabhupada Maharaj once explaining the example of watch and watchmaker. So I think that comes from Christian theology, if I'm not wrong, that God is like a watchmaker, and he makes the watch, and the watch operates on its own after once the watch is created, right? So the watch is the material world, and the watchmaker is the God. I think then that's the understanding that uh, once the material world is created, the material world is on its own. No more Lord is intervened into it. So basically, it is the another form of atheism that even though they assume Lord has created the material world, but material world by itself is independent. And so this is one of the one shade of modern scientific mentality. And the reason for this is uh, ultimately everybody wants to enjoy life. And if the material world is independent, then the scientific mentality is that we can explore or identify the rules that govern this material world. So once we know the laws of the material world, then we can use those laws to control the material world. Once we can control the material world, we can enjoy the material world. We can exploit the material world, and we can enjoy the material world, right? So this is ultimately the thought process of the people who adhere to this philosophy, are basically the mentality of enjoyment, that yes, the matter, whatever is in front of me, whatever is present before me, is for my enjoyment. Nobody is there to look after it. How much ever I can lord it over, I can enjoy it. Okay. uh, Whatever means it is, by conquering or by actual scientific research, I try to exploit the laws of material nature and create finest of the instruments and technology, so that ultimately I can control everything, and I can become uh, I can exploit the nature, and I can enjoy the life. So that is the modern scientific mentality. And certainly, this shade is also to enjoy the material life, basically. Because if everything belongs to the Lord, then it's very difficult for us to enjoy. Because everything belongs to the Lord, then I have to ask the permission of the Lord, and there is a big way, there is a process I have to follow, so that to enjoy. And then again, even if I enjoy also, I have to be grateful, so that it's actually belongs to the Lord, mm, not mine actually. So the modern scientific mentality try to avoid this uh, theistic understanding, right? So whereas this third canto actually explains the theistic Sankhya Yoga, and explains the creation in many, many places. Actually, Maharaj says that almost 7 times the creation has been explained in Canto 2 and Canto 3 together, in multiple ways. So just to make us understand that creation, the primary creation, the cause is the Lord, and also that secondary creation is also the cause is the Lord. And also not only that, in every step, even after creation, the Lord is present in this universe in every step, even as a form of universal form. So in a way, we are actually stepping on the Lord. Actually, right now we are walking on the Lord's energy, and the Lord is present in every way, and He's present in every atom as well as a Paramatma, both in living entity with the soul. He is present as Paramatma, as well as even in unanimated atoms are also He is present as Paramatma. So Lord is very, very well connected with the material world. Unlike the modern scientific mentality, where they consider Lord is not at all involved. Nature is on its own. Nobody is controlling it. So Bhagavatam's philosophy of Sankhya is quite opposite, and completely refutes that atheistic philosophy, and presents the theistic uh, Sankhya Yoga. Uh, so and these teachings also give us the inner strengths in our mind, and it dispels that anartha, and gives us the clue that yes, everything belongs to the Lord. Yes, I can enjoy, but within the purview of whatever is assigned to me. Again, Isavasham principle is related to that, and also third chapter of Bhagavad Gita also related to that. Yajna, the sacrifice. We recognize where the things are coming from, and we do sacrifice for Lord Vishnu, and through that we get whatever material benefits we get. And that's how theistically we try to live in this material world. So, so that is the understanding, and the one of the pastime that Maharaj explains is that explains to explain this modern scientific mentality is uh, Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is the representation of this modern scientific mentality, and that's why he actually usurps uh, the Mother Earth in a way. Uh, People now exploiting the mother nature, sucking all the mother nature's resources in terms of by mining the valuable minerals and using its natural resources that are offered by it, and creating all these uh, big magnificent structures, uh, not to in the service of the Lord, but to for their for their enjoyment. So that's what the exploitation. So Hiranyaksha, he wants the gold and enjoy life, and doesn't care about the presence of the Lord at all. Uh, he wants to enjoy the life independently of the Lord. So he usurps or the exploits the mother nature, and so that's what he tried to do, but he was not successful. Ultimately, Lord came and delivered Mother Earth and killed Hiranyaksha. So third canto is like that. So it destroys our anartha of exploiting the material nature, enjoying tendency independent of the Lord. So, and another uh, yeah, I think that's the key point that stood out for me, that third canto. Yeah. So, and any one of you present in the class, if you have any specific point that stood out in third canto, uh, please go ahead and share. Uh, Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that high level structure from Bhaktivedanta Maharaj you quoted. Actually, just this year, as we were driving to Florida, me and Vasana, we had a chance to listen to some of those lectures, very nicely done, to get a better understanding and appreciation of uh, how to approach Srimad Bhagavatam and how it is structured. So again, thank you for reminding me that I should probably go back and listen to some of those very nice lectures. Um, and I think for me personally, this description of this entire third canto, like especially as a grahastha, is very instructive from a practical, uh, responsibilities perspective, and yet understanding how that spiritual goal is. Never lose sight of that spiritual goal. There are duties that we have as in the material world, just depending on the ashrama that we are in. And in this particular verse, but in this particular canto specifically, a lot of the husband-wife dealings are mentioned, which is very, very pertinent for grihasthas. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for bringing about that point of practical lessons from third canto. Particularly, it is very evident in the Kartama Muni and Mother Devahuti's pastime. And yeah. And this reminds me of there is another very popular pastime in third canto is Kumaras and Jaya Vijaya's pastime as well. So it's very intricate, very even now I get confused who is wrong, who is right there, because uh, very nice. So
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. I think I was I was thinking when you were talking in the initial verses, we should have had one class for just for summary of third canto, but you gave very brief summary. Thank you so much. So, yeah, we took almost like 3 years for the third canto. I was just looking at it. So we started sometime in January 23. So took 3 years exactly. It's such a big topic, especially these teachings of this section is one of the biggest sections, right? I mean, from Kardama Muni and Devahuti's marriage, uh, right till now, almost like what this 33 or 14 chapters, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
something like that. So such a big section. It took more than 1 year for us. So thank you so much. I mean, it was such a nice thing. I think it is one of the biggest sections, right, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, if I'm right. So, I mean, of course, other than Lord Krishna's pastimes, but that is like a different whole thing. So, thank you. I was thinking one more thing. Anyway, yeah, the clock, and I think if I remember, I was hearing from Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I guess. He was referring this, I think, when the whole atheism became more popular, when the clock got invented, right, by man. So because we are able to predict the time or the sun movement by kind of some mechanical means, right? So then, yeah, I mean, same thing. I don't know if that is coming in the theology, or I mean the clock example in the Christian theology you mentioned, but I think I don't know if maybe. Uh, so when they made the clock, and then clock is running by itself, right? So same way God created this world, and then He's no more, right? So I don't know if, I mean, there is a theory, I think, there, but I think that's when more people moved out of churches and all, right, in the Western world. So I think more became people started believing more in the science. So that's what I remember.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Prabhu. So with that, we'll conclude this class. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
Yes.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna.